Hello, my beautiful Gemini. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're taking a look at your October predictions, and you could be Gemini Sun, Moon, Rising, or have heavy Gemini placements in your chart. You're all welcome here. Could be cross-watching for your favorite Gemini person. That's absolutely fine. Now, do keep in mind that all my readings are timeless, so whenever you stumble across this video, the message was meant to find you. And we'll be taking a look at the overall energy for the upcoming month of October when I'm filming. And then we'll look at what you don't see coming, your opportunity and your challenge for this month. And we'll finish off with some advice from spirits. All right, so let's take a look at your overall energy, Gemini, shall we? Making sure I'm recording. Spirit, overall energy for Gemini. What is the overall energy for Gemini? Clear and concise for the greatest and highest good for Gemini. And thank you so much for this message. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message. And thank you so much, Gemini, for allowing me to tap into your energy and the energy around you at this time. I'm truly blessed. Thank you. We have the Fool, we have the Six of Pentacles, and we have the Eight of Wands in reverse. We have the Wheel, indecisiveness, allowing your life to ramble aimlessly. And we have Club. Someone will try to make you do something against your will. All right, well, let's pull one of these. We have Smoke, 32. Might be a significant number. That's also number 5. And 5 is all about change. Could be about conflict. The 5th house is all about love, romance, and affairs. Self-expression and joy. Okay. Well, overall energy here. Give me a minute. I feel there's a sense of something you're not seeing. And I think it might be something that maybe foolishly you're walking into, Gemini. Because maybe you have a very good you have a hope or some understanding that is a little bit naive of gaining something. Like if you give good energy, you'll get good energy kind of thing, which I would normally agree with in some way. But I think there needs to be a little bit more direction, because what's happening is you're going to walk into a situation that I think is going to leave you feeling very uncomfortable and disorientated and stuck. And I think you're going to put yourself there. Or you have, because again, this overall energy, I don't know if you're kind of coming into the month like this. Allow your life to ramble aimlessly with, allowing your life, to ramble aimlessly with indecisiveness. And here the Fool is definitely aimless, is kind of just taking a leap. But I feel like the leap is going straight into the smoke of uncertainty. And we can't really breathe in smoke. We can't really maintain long periods of time in smoke. And so I feel like something gets stuck. But I don't know. I feel like with the Six of Pentacles, that's you kind of expecting some sort of balance, or that you've been sort of allowing yourself to give or show up in some way. I'm going to get a clarifier card here and some clarity for this Six of Pentacles, because I'm not quite sure why we're seeing that. Someone will try to make you do something against your will. I feel like there isn't someone that will make you do something against your will, but you might feel like there is once you go in a direction that I don't think you're expecting to go into. Yeah. Ten of Swords in reverse. Okay. I think there's a little bit of topsy-turvy here for you because things might have been perceived to be quite balanced. And like I said, there's an energy here of if I give to a situation, it gives back. And it's been pretty healthy and pretty balanced. And you felt kind of in control in some way. That's kind of what I'm getting from this, is an in control feeling. But I think, okay, now it's coming through. I think there's other people involved here that might have made it seem as though it was an innocent, balanced situation in some way, but you might have been being led, because this could be the breadcrumbing, led astray in some way. And so I think once you get led down to a certain part experience here, I think things turn, and I don't think they turn for the better with the black cat. I think like that's you allowing yourself to be, this is also giving me Wheel of Fortune, you allowing yourself to get pulled easily into a situation that I don't think you want to be in. And now I don't really know necessarily why we got the Ten of Swords, because that is an ending, but in reverse, it's like a need for closure in some way. So I think Spirit is really saying, maybe you've been leaking, okay, follow this energy. I don't know how else to explain it, but leaking energy in an unnecessary way here because of a lack of being pointed and direct. So there's been an investing slowly, and maybe slowly your energy's been pulled by someone or circumstance here that should have ended a long time ago. So you're allowing yourself to kind of be pulled gradually, and it feels like it's this balanced thing where maybe you feel like you're not really being pulled, but the whole time you are being kind of pulled by this wheel slowly but surely, and you might not realize. And by not ending or not allowing this to happen, you kind of get pulled to, I think, a point where you get pulled right into the smoke. And I don't think you want to be in this situation, Gemini, at all. Okay, I don't think you want to be in that. And maybe you're already in this where you feel like, how did I allow this kind of to happen? You know, because I think your heart was in a good place and you were carefree about things and wanting to see. So you were open and maybe investing and taking where you could and giving where you can, and suddenly you found yourself over the cliff here in a bunch of smoke here, where someone was trying to pull you, and now you feel stuck, or now you feel like you can't move forward. That's not a good feeling, Gemini. So I don't know what their intentions are. We'll pull some clarifiers later, because this is more of a reading in regards to the energy that's happening here in October, or I guess whenever you click on this for the month. Let me take a look at what you don't see coming. This might give us context. What you don't see coming for Gemini. We have the Two of Swords. That's an interesting Two of Swords. Look at that. One is pointing down and the other is pointing, I guess, to the left. What does that mean? Ten of Wands. What you don't see coming. And your Six of Cups. Let's pull these. We have Pig, beware of greed. Okay. Well, Gemini, indecisive card, the Two of Swords, and indecisive. So I feel almost like you don't recognize you're being indecisive, but in your actions you are, because you're not taking control and you're allowing yourself to blow with the wind, or allowing situation, circumstances to pull you or guide you or breadcrumb you towards something I don't think you want. And I don't think you see this coming, and then you get stuck. Okay, this is going to be a heavy burden in some way. And I don't think the situation is honest. Something about it doesn't feel honest or aligned with your truth, is more what I should say. And we were getting that, like I said, from 32, the number 5, I said romance, home, and self-expression, right? I'm getting the same from this 6 of Cups, because this is all about home, soulmates, something that feels very comfortable, makes you feel like home, a person, place, or thing of the past that feels very safe, nostalgic memories. So we might be not direct in where we're going or headed, or have a strong idea of where we want to go or what we want to do. And we might be allowing ourselves to get led because we feel some sort of attachment or a memory or something that reminds us of a safety, of a home, a place, a person, or something. It could be soulmate or something of the past life. But I feel like it kind of does get us into trouble here with this 10 of Wands, the 10 Wands of burden that now we have to carry in some way out of a situation we could have prevented in some way. Because I do feel like you're being led to smoke, and you can't stay in the smoke very long, just like you can't carry the 10 sticks very long either. You got to get out of it. You got to find a way out of it. And I feel like it's not barren, or it is barren. Yeah, it's barren. Or it has no fruit. It feels very barren. And look how he's holding the sword. I'm really drawn to this 2 of Swords. He has his arm over his eyes. And the sword of truth is pointing downwards. I feel like the situation is very easy to see. In fact, I think you see it. But you're willingly partaking, I feel. And I don't think it's a good idea, because he could just put his arm down and see, and I think you do see. But maybe you're exploring, maybe you want to explore something here, because you might feel it's bringing you closer to home in some way, but I think it's not. And with the beware of greed, it could be that somebody is wanting to benefit something from you for their own gain. And maybe the greed can even talk of us, you, Gemini, wanting to come closer to something that you hold near and dear. And by closing your eyes, pretending to yourself in some way. But this is some sort of level of greed. Because when we are not looking at a situation from an honest perspective that we know, it could be that we're fearing seeing a truth. This is an interesting energy. Okay, so let's take a look at your opportunity. I'm going to put these over here, and we're going to look at your opportunity. Okay, so what is the opportunity here for Gemini for the month of October? What is this Gemini? What is this Gemini? What is this opportunity for Gemini for the month ahead? We have the 7 of Cups, the 3 of Pentacles, and the 7 of Wands in reverse. I'm going to pull one of these. We have Jug, lighthearted, carefree time. All right, so lighthearted, carefree time is kind of fool energy here, but I feel like this is what kind of gets you into trouble. This is also the indecision card, like needing to make a choice, needing to be clear, needing to cut through and see truths, cut through smoke, cut through illusions, to choose proper, to be direct, to not be indecisive. Your opportunity is to cut through illusion, to make a choice here, because I feel like the more direct you are in understanding who to work with and what you want to build and create, gives you more sense of control here. That's your opportunity, because I feel like right now you're kind of at the mercy of wherever you go. This is somebody who is at a very good position to fight and stand their ground and fight for what they believe. And this is someone who feels caught off guard. I feel like there's maybe a feeling of being caught off guard because we've been too carefree, we've been too lenient, we haven't been standing our ground for what it is that we want to create and build in a practical way, to get grounded, to say here's what we need to do in order to make something happen. Been more like, okay, I'll allow things to kind of flow and I'll just kind of go with the flow and I won't get very certain or concise or direct, and then all of a sudden we find we're in the smoke carrying 10 wands of burden. So your opportunity for October, and this might come out kind of in the advice as well, is for you to understand that you choose how you want to show up here. And you can certainly choose to stay in the 7 of Cups, some sort of, again, this is fantasy illusion, right? I talked about maybe us connecting in some way to a story of the past or a memory or person of the past, but it could be out of a place of greed because we might be wanting some sort of something. So we allow ourselves to be led astray or allow ourselves to direct ourselves in the wrong direction, opposite of where we want to go or what we want to do. And then we might feel as though we got led there blindly by someone else, which we could have certainly have seen from a mile away or could have done something about it. Okay, so let's see what your challenge is then. What is your challenge? Yeah, because I really feel like your opportunity is to build something, create something that you want, rather than allowing yourself to get thrown about and further away from creating what you want. It puts you further from what you want. So your challenge, we have the Knight of Swords. Yeah, your challenge is to get clear. Your challenge is to cut through bullshit. Your challenge is to be very direct and stand for what you believe in. Charge in with the truth, with direction. Here we have the 5 of Wands. So this is conflict, having to compete, maybe feeling very challenged by a situation. If we step forward, we don't want to be confrontational. This is all about confrontation. Okay, so your challenge is confrontation. Someone will try to make you do something against your will. Is someone confronting you with challenge? And this is your challenge, is you're being confronted here to do something, to compete in some way. Death. Wow. Major Arcana. This is Scorpio energy. Is this your first Major Arcana? No, we have the Fool as well. Okay, so yes. The challenge here, I think, is not to allow situations to bully you in a way, to take charge, to allow things that maybe aren't supposed to be, allow them not to be. And things that I think are supposed to change and shift, there needs to be an active sort of acceptance so that you're able to make proper choice. So you're able to work with things that are working and alive, not things that should be transitioned out, should be over, should be no longer in your life, because it causes all sorts of conflict. People who are combative, people who might be putting you in situations you don't like, calling it quits, putting an end to that in order so you can be focused, so you can dedicate yourself to your work, to your creations, to something else that is fruitful. So we keep continuously engaging with dead-end situations, and then we feel 10 of Wands, okay? Because we might feel some sort of connection here, some sort of soulmate type connection, or we might feel like, well, this is a person I've known from childhood, or this is a family member, or I grew up here, or whatever sort of story we're telling ourselves, but we're leading ourselves right to more smoke and 10 of Wands. Let's get some clarity for you guys. I'm going to get some clarifiers here for the Fool, the Six of Pentacles, and the Eight of Swords in reverse. Can we just get a little bit more in regards to this sort of situation that Gemini is finding themselves in? We have Justice, Libra. Six of Pentacles is a balance card. Justice is a balance card, bringing in justice with truth, bringing in justice with a sense of balance. But if we allow ourselves to just go with the wind, we kind of lose our sense of balance. Two of Swords coming out again. A need to make a decision, or else we suffer the consequences of indecision. These are both balance cards as well, but this is like we sat idle. We had buried our head in the sand, or we weren't able to decide on something. So we now deal with the consequences of indecision, and that is being led astray, or, yeah. You got to bring in the balance here. Judgment in reverse. This is us not wanting to see something clearly, not accept something here. Because it's challenging to accept an end or a death of some situation, because once we see judgment in the upright, it's like we are honest with ourselves and our situation, and we have to deal with truths and only embrace truths in order to move forward to the new. But we might not be held sort of in a state of inaction, therefore kind of like a fool being blown to and fro, exploring, thinking we're open, but what we're open to is the consequences of inaction, the consequences of not taking control and bringing balance into our own life, focusing on what we can. So then we start to deal with conflict and situations with people that aren't very pleasant. What's with this beware of greed and this Six of Cups? Ten of Cups in reverse. It's kind of what I said. This is like an ideal situation. It could be an ideal partnership, you know, like we might have a vision of an ideal relationship, or something that makes us feel safe at home, or soulmate energy. And I feel like there's a need to come to terms with maybe bursting an illusion, not having our head in the clouds, because this is stemming from a place of greed in some way. Okay, and it could mean that someone else is greedily getting what they want, but I feel like we are also in greed when we don't call a situation what it is, and we pretend or sit idle telling ourselves that something is something else that it's not, because out of a place of greed, of hoping to gain something, but we don't gain it. The only way we can gain it is to actually allow ourselves to be open to the opportunity to do something, which is get very clear, get very direct and concise. That's also your challenge to do this, okay? Or else you find yourself in smoke. So let's take a look at what your advice is here from Spirit. What is the advice here for Gemini? What is the advice? The Five of Cups. I'm going to take the one that revealed itself. The Eight of Swords in reverse. And the Knight of Coins. So, beautiful Gemini. Five of Cups. Sadness. Looking at the spilled cups, but 2 cups remain. Not allowing something to end and transition out and keeping in conflict instead of allowing ourselves to get honest with truth so that we can start to put energy in what actually is salvaged. So you might not want to be facing sadness in some way. So you might be pretending or keeping something alive. But there's a need to come out of that sort of limiting way of being or thinking. So Spirit is saying, come out of that thought. Okay, because when you're in that thought, even though it might feel good, or we might have our head in clouds, so we're not seeing something because we're choosing it. But once we release ourselves from those limiting ways of being, we then are allowed to move forward to create something worthwhile. And although, because I feel like this guy looks like he's in a wheelchair and he has a pentacle, so it's like maybe there is going to be significant pains, because when we experience a transition like death in this Five of Cups, it hurts. And we slowly got to transition ourselves out of that, but it at least allows for movement forward. And I feel like this pentacle is kind of belonging here. So I feel like you're being called by Spirit to work with what feels more like it's actually building something, rather than what you in your mind are telling yourself that something's being built to some idolized version here of a feeling. Because I think you're acting on a feeling rather than on what you actually can see in front of you that's progressing. And if something's not progressing in a grounded, tangible way, but just emotionally it's progressing or all over the place, or feels like something that's not building something worth having, and eventually you're going to have to face this anyway. So it's best we face this sooner, so we free ourselves from a mental prison of thought, because it's restricting you from building, it's restricting you from growing, it's keeping you prisoner. Okay, so face judgment, because I feel like you already know what it is. And so this is your reading here for October, Gemini. I hope this resonated in some way, and I hope it's given you some guidance. Let me know in the comments, and I will see you soon. Bye.